Dear Claressa Shields, this is probably going to be the realest conversation you will ever have. So let's talk.
Yeah, so beautiful, so lovely.
What I'm not going to do is discredit you for who you are and what you are in your sport, right? In your field. That's not my mission. I'm not going to sit here and tear you down, but I am going to be honest with you. And it's time to have that conversation. Now, I know that there's a lot of people who have been calling you out, been saying X, Y, and Z to you, and you may have not responded well to it. But no, let's point out some things, and I don't think not even you can sit here and say that I'm wrong. And then maybe you could look back at everybody else and understand their perspective. First of all, I want to just mention the positives. And kudos to you for being the first American, whether female or male, to win back to back Olympic gold medals. Like, to earn those, to work hard for those, and to work hard for those in the conditions that you grew up in. The fight that you had to go through to get that far. No one, I mean, no one can take that away from you. That is such an honor, and you have to be proud of yourself. So I could understand where some of the confidence comes from, but then it turns gray. You're also undisputed at multiple weight classes. Even though there's conversations that you're ducking and dodging, some female boxers, but that's nor here nor there. You just didn't break barriers, you kicked them down. And again, got to give you your flowers while you're here. So at least you hear that. And again, this isn't a video to bash you, but this is a video to hold you accountable. And we're just going to get into it. But I definitely wanted to give you your flowers first before we moved on. But this is where I have an issue with you. You you go around telling all of us how great you are, right? I think you do that like a tweet a day to let us all know how great you are. But I feel like you're forcing everybody else to see you. And it's like, why? I feel like for someone who's supposed to be so great, now I'm going to be honest with you, you're not, for me, I wouldn't consider you the GOAT, right? That's a you thing. That's something that you proclaimed yourself. You weren't honored with that title. You gave it to yourself. So, I mean, again, that goes back to being confident. That's cool. But this is where, again, it gets a little gray for me. You sit here and you talk so negatively about the people who are trying to support you. You are very argumentative. And it's like, if you're so great, what is the need to be so argumentative? On social media, you can care less, like who you're talking to. You feel the need to defend yourself. People who talk trash are not even on your level. So it's like, why do you even waste your time talking back? Why do you even sit here and care that much to have a conversation with people or insult people that you don't know? There's no need to defend a title to anybody who has never met you, who has never walked in your shoes, but yet you do it. And then again, when it comes down to being the GOAT, to me, it was a GOAT in boxing. To me, it's like you need to humble yourself, because even though you may have gotten medals, right? Even though you've made, I don't know, I guess in your eyes you have sold the most, seats in female boxing, I think. I think you are the runner up for that, or not the runner up, you are the winner in that. But for me, when it comes down to being the greatest, three knockouts ain't it for me. I'm sorry, it just isn't it. And then you sit here and degrade the boxers who have come before you. I don't get with that. Like, I don't understand why that is even necessary. That kind of reminds me of Nicki Minaj and how she treated, little Kim. You honor who came before you, not insult them. You know what I'm saying? Those are living legends, and you, for whatever you feel like you can go toe to toe. That's insane to me. It just is. And then we sit back and we look at how you move. And it's like, okay, you might be the greatest, right? But you have really nothing to show for it. Okay, you have this $8 million deal or whatever. I guess, but you'll get that in increments. Cool, right? But you have no brand deals. And from my understanding, this is across all sports. You're great, you get endorsements, right? But do you sit back and look and just ask yourself why, like, why don't I get endorsements? Well, I can gladly tell you why you don't get endorsements. You are not personable. You're not likable. You are risky business. You go toe to toe with the consumer. Who's going to sit here and trust you with their brand? You're blackballing yourself for what reason? And that's the part that it's like, damn, this girl has potential to be absolutely great because you are great in what you do, right? When you fought Fran Sean, that was the first time I personally watched you. And I felt like she was coming for you. I felt like she was giving you some motion, and then you got her. Like there wasn't a round that I felt like you didn't win. And that is all good. But what I also noticed about that fight was you went from fighting and then the next day doing normal stuff. There was no photo shoots, there were no commercials, there were no collection releases, there's no promotion of any sort from certain brands. And you're literally out here blackballing yourself because you want to defend a relationship that at some point it's like, is he even worth it? Now, as a married woman, I understand, right? Wanting or desiring to have that person, but at what cost? Because it isn't like dude is a single person, you know what I mean? So you putting yourself in a situation where you really can't get no solid commitment. Why? Because on paper this dude is committed to somebody else. Why lower your standards? Why lower your standards to be with a person that can't fully commit until those papers are signed? We all have seen the perception that Papoose has put out there that he is a loyal husband, that he's a great father, he's a ride or die individual. We saw what he has done with Remy. Now, baby girl, I need you to focus and just look. How he comes across with you doesn't seem as loving. And as much as I want you to have that, because I feel like everybody deserves love, right? Everybody deserves that fairy tale ending. But how can he? You said you guys have been together for almost 2 years, right? Now, I think I did a video whenever all that came out. I did a video, and so it's been a year since I posted for real. So that was about in 2024. It's now 2026 when Remy Ma put everybody on blast. Now, with that being said, it took her, just listen, and I just want you to kind of like take it all in. She puts you guys on Front Street, right? So she says everything. She blows the whole situation up. She put text messages out there, yada yada yada. It took all of that drama for him to file for divorce, right? So that was 2 years ago. What is taking them so long to divorce each other? Listen, I've been through a divorce, right? Of, we had nowhere near the means, right? But been through a divorce, and I promise you, it doesn't take that long. Yes, you have to be like separated from your person for about a year. I don't know if that is in every state, but at least it was the state that I was in. You have to be separated. And then after that, 30 days, you can get your divorce decree. Why is it taking so long? Does it ever dawn on you? Do you ever ask any questions, or are you just accepting the situation for what it is and just accepting him saying whatever he is saying to you? Because this is not goat like behavior, right? You shouldn't come second to nobody, but we all see it. We all see how it comes off, right? Who knows what he's saying to you behind closed doors? But when there's a camera around, dude is all business, right? That affection or whatever it's very minimal. But we also know how he conducted himself with Remy. And why do you want that for yourself? And do you ever like think about potential reconciliation between Papoose and Remy? Like, does it ever dawn on you? Because it's like, okay, what's taking this divorce so long? Could they be talking, you know, behind closed doors when you are not in the same state as far as what to do next? Them working it out, them going to counseling, you don't know. And this is what I feel like you need to do. Like, for one, this shouldn't even be an ultimatum, because you shouldn't even be in a situation where you have to not compete, but yet sort of kind of compete with the spouse. And honey, when I sit here and tell you, you will not win against her. If the divorce is not done damn near immediately, and there's room for reconciliation, I promise you, you are not the one he's going to go to, because there's security in relationships that have grown for a decade plus. You know what I mean? It just is. And how you portray yourself online, which shocks me, truth be told, it shocks me that he even gravitated towards you. If you see how Papoose carries himself versus how you carry yourself, and even comparing, not saying that you and Remy are on the same playing field, because y'all are not, but what I'm saying is it's two different parts of the spectrum. Y'all are very, very different. And I don't see how you're his type. Sounds really crude, but just because you may not be someone's type doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Again, you're not my cup of tea in general, because you do too much. And I feel like you do that because you are insecure about some things. That's just me personally, just my opinion. You made this song called Faithful. I only heard this snippet of whatever you initially have put out there. I personally am not going to download or go on Apple Music to listen to it. And this is why. You're saying that your man is faithful to you, but he is married. Listen, I don't care if they're separated. They're still nuptials. No one is divorced. And I wouldn't go that far to make a song like that. And it's the thing, right? Papoose can have great intentions, right, for you two. He can, right? We're not with y'all, right? We're not in y'all relationship. We're not. Even though we all dissect it to pieces, we're not. But what I'm saying is, if he loved you, right? If he truly cared about you, why not speed up this whole process so then you are not out here looking crazy? Have you ever thought about every time people say stuff to you? Now, mind you, this may not even be his demeanor, but every time someone says something to you, this dude, he doesn't defend you, right? And even with the diss track that Papoose did of 50 Cent, there's really no mention of you. And then when you had that lyric that, this dude would beat someone up for you, no, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He did that for Remy. It sounds good in theory, but he wouldn't. And honestly, do you feel like everything you have gone through with this guy is aligning with what you feel like you deserve? If your sisters or your best friends were going through this, would you be okay with them dealing with a married man, right? Regardless, right? He is living separately. On paper, this dude is married. What are you telling your best friend? Because what I would tell my best friend, like, sister, this is risky business. What she would tell me, sister, this is risky business. You don't ever know what the situation is going to, turn into. And don't put yourself out there like that to get your feelings hurt. Now, granted, we're not famous. You are. You are. And you're doing this like every day you have to post something. If something were to happen to this relationship publicly, what I fear is that you would be devastated. And this is where my concern will come into play. Because I feel like he should know better. Not because he's older, but because he's the one in the marriage. That this will affect you deeply, and it shouldn't have gone this far. You see what I'm saying? No man or no female is worth the hassle when they're committed already. Until the commitment is over, there's really nothing to talk about. And I do have a question. Um, have you met his youngest child? Not to be intrusive, but I know you met one of his daughters or the oldest, right? I don't even know how many kids Papoose has, but have you met baby girl, the one that him and Remy share? And if you haven't, right? Why? It's been 2 years. Why not? I don't think there has been any word of it. I think I would like to say that when Remy had put you two on blast, she had mentioned like that wasn't a thing. Like you guys can, coexist, especially with you wanting to have a baby by this dude. We'll get to that. But have you met the golden child yet? And if so, how was that like? And if you haven't met her, how long do you think this whole charade is going to be? Do you personally think that a real relationship can withstand you not being able to be around all of his children? That's something to think about, because being a bonus parent, being in a blended family, like, it's important to have a solid relationship with the other parent, right? Because you have to feel confident that I'm going to love your child unconditionally in your absence, or when you're when your child is in the home with me and my spouse. You have to have that confidence. But if y'all can't get it together, how do you think that's going to work? I remember a time where you had said that this relationship was supposed to be private, but because she put everything on blast is when you decided to continue. Now, just think about what you said there. If your relationship was supposed to be private, even though a person had already put you on blast, well, why can't you still make it private? Why must we see every little thing that you say and do with him, right? If you know that all of us are very critical and we're going to comment, why is it that you put yourself out there for us to comment when you initially said that things were supposed to be private? Make it private. Let us not in your business, right? Shut it down. If y'all love each other so much, protect the relationship and keep it quiet. That's simple. But there's something about you that thrives off of the negative energy. And you talk about God quite a bit. And how is this embodying what is taught in the Bible that you claim to read? And maybe you don't read it. Maybe that's my assumption, because when you bring God into a situation, I'm feeling like you've read the book and you should know there's certain things we shouldn't do. Now, we're all imperfect, right? But you can't say that you were blessed with sin and then that sin is of God. Makes zero sense. But I mean, I don't expect nothing less from you. So the takeaway with all of this is, one, you're the greatest, but you don't have any brand deals, any endorsements, because you're incapable of preserving your brand by being quiet and not disrespecting, you know, the consumers that could potentially buy from you, right? You're in a relationship for the past 2 years that um, that your significant other is still married to his spouse. Somehow this is serving you, and yet you talk about the Lord. What defines a growth? And listening to all of that back, you can repeat this back to yourself over and over again. I'm the greatest, but have achieved the bare minimum because nobody wants to work with you. Nobody wants to deal with you. And it's not always about the money, right? I get it, right? But integrity, that's for free. Get some. If we didn't care about your well-being, no one would sit here and take the time to discuss the things that you are doing wrong and what you can tweak. You're young, you're 31. That this is why you're 31 and you can definitely grow from here. You don't have to be stuck and committed to foolery, right? But this is why I'm willing to take that time. And honestly, girl, I am not a fan. I am not a fan, won't ever be a fan. But what I will say is, I know that you haven't been taught a lot, and that's obvious, right? Are you grown? Yes. But no one has taken the time to sit here and talk to you about, one, integrity and what that might look like, and preserving your brand and learning decorum. You don't know how to act, and it's unfortunate. And then when I saw you at the Breakfast Club, I was just confused on why you felt the need to stand up and show everybody what your body looked like. And because you are physically fit, what you're capable of doing behind closed doors. What am I missing here? That's tacky, Clarissa. And I wanted to scale back a little bit and mention the fact of you having the desire to have a kid with a married man, right? And maybe let's just take out the whole married thing. The likelihood of those two getting back together, I wouldn't say it's slim to none. Anything is possible, right? As long as they're married, they can still make anything happen, because all he has to do and all she has to do is say, hey, let's make this thing work. They're already together, right? It's not going to take much. But you want to bring life into the world when your life is uncertain. There's no guarantee that things are going to work out. Why would you even desire that? FYI, news flash. There's a lot of single moms in the world who would sit here and tell you that is not the ideal circumstance. But look at, and this is, I'm letting things go now. I think I've had said enough, and hopefully you're able to sit with that and understand that your movements are affecting your brand. Your movements are the complete opposite of what a quote is. The greatest of all times, greatest woman of all times. Even the basic one, the basicest, the most basic woman in the world would wouldn't want to sit here and affect her integrity behind dealing with a married dude. And even the women who actually deal with married men for whatever reason, but the ones that do that don't find pride in it. They keep it hidden. Why? Because it's not something to be proud of. You know best. It's your world. But just know God doesn't favor behaviors like this. It may appear that he's showing you favor because you have money. Think about that though. I need you to think real hard about feeling blessed because you have money. Think about everybody who has been blessed or has received lots of money within their lifetime and look at their positioning right now. Nothing, nothing that is wrong will go unpunished. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you heard today, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you'll get a notification every time I post. If you want to follow me on anything Spit Talking with Tali on social media, my links will be down below. And yeah, that is all. May God bless you. May God continue to cover you. And I will catch you all in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.